How's it going, everybody? So we have a fun review today as we're talking Wolfman, the first true big horror movie of the year. No disrespect to Peter Pan that came out a couple days ago, but this is the first big mainstream movie of 2025 because this is a Blumhouse effort. Not only is this a Blumhouse production, but this is coming to us from Leigh Whannell, who it seems like single-handedly is trying to revive every single Universal horror movie monster between this and The Invisible Man a couple years ago. A family at a remote farmhouse is attacked by an unseen animal, but as the night stretches on, the father begins to transform into something unrecognizable. If you've been following my channel for a bit, you would know last year in particular, I did kind of harp on Blumhouse, as I felt that 2024 objectively was probably the worst slate that Blumhouse has ever had, but I did have hope with 2025 based on their slate going into this year. They're going to bounce back a bit, and with at least Wolfman, I can't talk about the rest of the movies, obviously I haven't seen them in 2025, I think they're starting off on the right foot here. Leigh Whannell continues to elevate the horror genre in so many different ways, tackling a werewolf story in such a fashion that it horrifies you just as much as it hits you with an emotional gut punch, due to how effectively he endears you to this family and their plight. What especially worked for me here in Wolfman is the overall creepy, dreary atmosphere that Whannell cooks up. The longer into the film we follow this family in this farmhouse in the middle of the woods, that feeling of isolation takes hold, and the overwhelming sense of desperation trying to survive with a werewolf skulking about. Haunting noises also are aplenty throughout Wolfman that ramp up in tension before it all lets loose in the climax. Another major thing that I was impressed with in Wolfman is, for the most part, the cast in this is incredibly small. For about 95% of the movie, you are just following this family of Christopher Abbott, Julia Garner, and the actress who plays their daughter. The emotional anchor of their family is the core of what makes Wolfman pack so much of a punch. Christopher Abbott in particular is asked to do so much throughout Wolfman, effectively conveying this emotionally conflicted father dealing with his own trauma, all the while gradually losing his sense of humanity. Julia Garner's performance, not gonna lie, for a good chunk of the movie, I was kind of underwhelmed by it. It's a bit of a more subtle approach, but it complements Christopher Abbott's performance quite well. She too is grappling with a lot of different feelings, feeling like in some ways that she's an inferior parent who's forced to step up to the plate and has to deal with some tough emotions. You dip back into the horror aspects of Wolfman, the all-around body horror in this is nasty and extremely effective whenever we do get bits of it. All I'll say is there's a lot of arm and leg gore in this movie. One of the major details that makes or breaks most werewolf movies is the werewolf design and the effectiveness of that transformation. Many of the different werewolf aspects, along with the transformation itself, is vastly different than the interpretations that we're used to in werewolf movies. The gradual nature of Christopher Abbott turning more and more wolf-like, as if it's more of like a disease taking over his body than him becoming full-on werewolf with a ton of fur. For me, that part was well executed, helped out a lot by the prosthetic work. The prosthetics on him are phenomenal over the course of the film, and he's turning more and more werewolf-like. Not only is it just creepy and nasty to look at, but I'd also say it's kind of heartbreaking, because we are seeing him slowly lose himself to this sickness. Originally, not gonna lie, I was kind of disappointed that they showed off a good bit of the transformation in the marketing campaign, because more often than not these days, trailers do give away too much of the movie. However, there is a good bit of surprises in the third act of the movie that they didn't show involving werewolves. One major cool detail that I like that they kind of showed a little bit of in the marketing is this sort of werewolf type vision that we get to see a handful of times. Adds a bit of fun visual flair to everything going on. If you're somebody that's a fan of Leigh Whannell, you would know that he likes to put some crazy camera work in the movies he directs, and that is no different in Wolfman. I would love to know how he accomplished some of the shots that he did in this with these wild aerial spinning shots. I joked about it earlier that this is Leigh Whannell's second Universal horror monster movie adaptation. His first, of course, being The Invisible Man a couple years back, but I love what he's doing with these interpretations and adapting them for modern audiences. For example, The Invisible Man tackled a lot of interesting themes centered around power and domestic abuse dynamics, with Elizabeth Moss's character stalked by a crazy ex-boyfriend, while here in Wolfman there's a lot of raw emotion on display pertaining to subjects such as generational trauma, the struggles of raising children with Blake trying to break that cycle of generational abuse. Those relationship dynamics in general really just pull on your heartstrings throughout this journey, largely because you see him try to actively be a great father figure to his daughter Ginger. By the way, I love the fact that his daughter's name is Ginger. I feel like it is a nod to Ginger Snaps, the iconic cult classic werewolf movie. I definitely feel like if you're someone that is a father, or if you're somebody that has a troubled past with your father, a lot of the different themes of this will hit a little bit harder. There's a line in here that really hit deeply for me, where Blake is talking about scars and being so scared that somebody will hurt your kids that you end up being the one who scars them. That to me might be one of the best lines of dialogue in the entire movie just because it is so true. Very much so like the classic Wolfman, it manages to be this interesting blend of terror, heartwarming sequences with an underlying melancholy to the story. While it's a horror movie at its core, a lot of this movie is actually genuinely depressing and sad. If I had to have a complaint though, I do wish some of these themes were explored a little bit deeper. It is a relatively short movie, it's a little over an hour and a half long, so I wouldn't be surprised if some of that stuff was just cut out for pacing. I would have liked to have seen some of these things explored a little bit deeper, as some of the stuff, while I found it intriguing, did feel very surface level. All around though, I had a fantastic time with Wolfman. I think it effectively rejuvenates the werewolf genre of horror. There's so much to love about this movie, from the eerie atmosphere, the body horror, and just the emotional gut punch of the all-around family journey that we go on. Make sure you share your thoughts down below though once you get a chance to check out Wolfman. What'd you think of the film? Did you like the movie? Did you not like the movie? Thank you guys, as always, check out the videos. I always do appreciate it. Make sure to like the video and also subscribe to the channel so update reviews, reactions, unboxings, and more. For the next time, I'll see you guys later.